Sadhguru, when you say everything in existence is just energy, from the gross to the subtle, it suggests a completely impersonal reality. Does the realm of the personal, all its love, its poetry, its lunacy, its rage, its beauty, mean nothing at all ultimately? Does that mean there is no connection at all between the psychological and the existential?
So someone is really very dearly attached to all the things around them. I don't want to destroy it. If you love your life so much, why should I take it away? I don't want to take it away. But unfortunately, death will. I am not death, I am just a reminder. I am not the angel of death, I am just reminding you, anyway it's going to happen, it's better to be aware that it's going to happen. All these things that you're talking about, what are those things? Your love, your…
Its love, its poetry, its lunacy.
particularly lunacy. Love, if I talk about it, I'll become unpopular. Poetry, maybe that's okay because not many people read poetry. Lunacy, I cannot touch that because that is a universal phenomenon. So what is there left for me? Is there anything more?
Its rage, its beauty.
Okay, maybe there's some things we can talk about. Rage, not everybody has rage because it takes a lot of energy to be in rage. Someone said this, probably Che Guevara. You heard of Che? You might not have heard of him, but most probably you've seen his picture because lots of young people have his picture on their t-shirts almost everywhere on the planet. These days people don't know who he is, they think he's a rock star or something. He wasn't, he was a revolutionary who became a phenomena at a certain time in the 70s and 80s. He became a great phenomena around the world. But somehow those t-shirts are still selling. Even today, everywhere, Che Guevara's t-shirts are continuing to selling all over the planet. So Che said, if you're outraged, you're with us. So someone who is a fan of Che went on repeating this to me. Then I said, oh, that's what Che said, but please listen what I have to say. If you're out of rage, you're with me. Now, you even get attached to all the things you suffer, that's the problem. Your lunacy is not something that you enjoy. If it's on a mild scale, you think it is giving you an extra dimension of character. When your lunacy is on a mild scale, you think it's giving you a little freakish character, it enhances you. Because otherwise nobody would notice you. Now because of your lunacy, people are noticing you, taking note of you. There are a lot of people, that's the only way they can get attention. Lunacy has its benefits. When you play it on a mild scale, if it picks up momentum, then you had it. Once it picks up momentum, then you really had it because that becomes… the ultimate suffering on the planet is mental illness, if you do not know this. If you become lunatic, if you lose this, this is the ultimate suffering. We always thought that if one becomes mad, there is no suffering. It is not true. The deepest form of suffering happens to you when you become mentally ill. All forms of suffering are actually different levels of mental illness, really. It's happening on mild scale. If it goes beyond a certain point, then it is called illness. It is just that small-scale lunacy you enjoy. Every day you go into it for 5 minutes and come back, you think it's giving you an added character. One day you went there and you could not come back, then people say, you're mad. No more an interesting character, you're mad. So all these things that you're talking about, your love, your poetry, your lunacy, your rage, all these things are just different manifestations of your mind, which you understand. That's why the question is the psychological completely divorced from the existential. You please tell me yourself. Look at your own psychological activity and see where is it coming from. The information that you have gathered may be partly existential, but everything that happens within you is purely psychological. And the information that you're gathering through the five senses today is scientifically proved it is not the way it really is. Nothing that you see, hear, smell, taste and touch is actually the way it is. Modern physics is out to do this, already it has done it in a big way. Modern neurosciences is completely demolishing your ideas of life, not dwelling upon the scientific part of it. Experientially, if you look at it, in your mind, every day you can create a new process if you're willing. You're actually doing this. Today you're in the ashram, it is a spiritual act. You go somewhere, it is another kind of act. You can do whatever you want with this, but the existential is just the way it is. Nothing has changed about it. Shankaran Pillai joined the medical college. It is a 5-year course, but because he was so thorough about everything, it was already 10 years and still they had not released him. Then one day he went to the library and looked at the anatomy book. The same anatomy book that people were studying 40, 50 years ago, the Gray's Anatomy, is still in vogue. So, he had read these 2, 3 anatomy books that were there because he's been there for 10 years. He went to the librarian and said, I'm fed up with this. Isn't there somebody writing something new? The librarian said, well, in the last 10 years you've been here, not a single bone has been added to the human system, so they haven't written anything new. Your mind, the psychological dimension of who you are, is constantly looking for variety and creating new things on a daily basis. It obviously has nothing to do with the existential, because the existential has always been the same. That is why the psychological decided something that is same all the time must be naturally boring. And that is why life has completely bypassed you. Right now, the question is coming because the only thing that is valuable in your life is your psychological process. You would not like to see that it is all rubbish. Definitely you would not like to see that it's all rubbish. So now the question arises, if you rubbish my lunacy, you must rubbish my love also. If you rubbish my rage, you must rubbish my devotion also. Yes, it is all rubbish. But right now that's all you have. So, at least create some wonderful kind of rubbish, because you have to employ this if you want to go beyond. Does the psychological have anything to do with the existential? If it had anything to do, if it had anything at all to do, then it wouldn't be something that you gathered, it would have been a part of you. But right now, the whole psychological process is the gathered process. Does it mean to say that the psychological has no meaning? It has. It is just like we wear these clothes. One thing, it covers our body. Another thing, it can decorate us. Another thing, it can be a statement of who you are. A million other things you can do with these clothes. But also, if you don't wish, you can discard this right now. So I'm not saying only the psychological, even the physiological has nothing to do with the reality. So, the psychological, does it have any value at all? It's just like, does your clothes have any value at all? As long as you're alive, as long as you live in a society, it has a value and a meaning. The meaning is contextual, it all depends in what context you are. Here, what kind of clothing I'm wearing is meaningful. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in a desert, now whether I wear my clothes or do not wear my clothes has no meaning. So, the psychological is just like this, it has contextual meaning. If you want to be in a certain place, you need to maintain your psychology in a certain way, because it has no meaning if you let it flow all over the place, then they send you to a certain place. If you do not create a meaningful psychological process, somebody else will decide where you should be. So, in that context, it is important. I am not saying it has no value in your life. It is extremely valuable. What kind of psychological process you carry within yourself right now, in that context, your love, your poetry, I like both of them, but your lunacy, I think we could do without it. I could do without it. I see a lot of it every day. So, the psychological process is created by you. It is your creation. The existential is not your making. It is the Creator's creation. You enjoy the psychological, there is no problem. But if you get lost in the psychological, then you will completely miss the existential. If you get too enamored by your own creation, you will totally miss the Creator's creation. Are they connected? You cannot exist here without the psychological. The existential is not your doing, there's nothing to do about it, it's there. But the psychological is your creation, so you can make it happen the way you want it. It can be 100% conscious process. You can have it or pull it back. You can throw it out or you can pull it back. Aren't you doing this all the time? Today you love this person, tomorrow it's all wrapped up and kept inside. Isn't this happening? So, your psychological, you can throw it out if you wish or roll it back if you want. And you can either have it going within yourself or you can just put it off. If you have the choice, if you really have kept the choice with yourself as to what happens in the sphere of the psychological is your conscious choice. Psychological is also a beautiful garden. If you have lost control over it, then you may call it love, you may call it poetry, you may call it rage, but it is just that one word which you said, it's just lunacy. Once it is no more a conscious process, it is just become a lunacy. So if your psychological process is in that state, then we call you a tick, a lunatic. Its connection with the existential is more as a stepping stone. It has nothing to do, but you can use the psychological either to go into lunacy or into freedom. You can use it to become absolutely compulsive or to become conscious. It is a device and it's your making. But especially because it's your making, you must make it the way you want, otherwise what's the point?